Alright guys, so I'm not saying any of this is true or that I know for a fact or any shit like that. This is strictly a what if, food for thought kind of deal here. But so say that these UFOs, these unidentified flying objects, are actually these ships that we, our government controls and flies around, and what the source is, whether that came from aliens or if that's just some sort of advanced technology of ours, that's up for debate. Not the point of this video here, but say that's true and there are these flying vehicles being used and witnessed in the sky and all of that. What if these are actually transportation vehicles for children, for trafficking? What if using an unknown method of transportation, unknown method of flight to transport these kids, they are keeping off the radar, so to speak? No flight logs, no way to trace or track the comings and goings and all of that. Now, question would be, where are they taking these children? Are they using these vehicles to just transport to different countries, maybe underground, to oceans? Or are they maybe taking them to other planets, maybe to the dark side of the moon, possibly? Now, another what if. Say all this is true, how would you attack the problem? How would you do something about these ships and the people flying them and coordinating all of this? If they are using space to travel, then wouldn't we need military in space? We do have the Space Force, and if you look up the definition of Space Force, it's not about fighting little green men. It's not about protecting our planet from an invasion from a species of another planet. No, it is to protect our airspace from our adversaries. So if our adversaries aren't another country that we're necessarily at war with, but an adversary as in an enemy, a worker of the dark, somebody doing this trafficking, that would be an adversary. So what if Space Force, one of their many purposes, is to find and intercept these vehicles traveling space? Now, how would you coordinate this? You would need eyes in space, right? Something to keep an eye on the traffic and to coordinate and observe and eventually, plan a raid on, right? Well, if we have Elon launching all these satellites into the sky, then maybe these satellites are not only providing internet for people, but they are also observing space traffic. Maybe they're observing movement and coordinates. Dude, I see shit moving in the sky all the time, and you can pull up your satellite tracker, your flight radar, and your apps on your phone. Nothing registered moving, but you see something moving through the sky, clear as day. What the fuck is that? There's shit moving up there. Now, they are saying that they are going to project this alien invasion, right? That this is all going to be a distraction. Well, if people are thinking Space Force is like some Halo type shit, we're gonna be fighting the Covenant. No, that's not what this is about. We are fighting these traffickers. We are fighting, whatever government agents may be using these UFO vehicles, whatever nefarious reasons they're using these vehicles for. And final thing I gotta say is, if this is the government using these vehicles, then during alien abductions, people talk about like these experiments being done on them, and them almost being in like this incoherent state. I mean, they talk about seeing these figures, these like elongated figures, these grays, these shadow people. What if that's some sort of hallucinogenic drug that you are given so that you don't see everything clearly. Everything does seem like a foggy, distant dream by the time you wake up back in your bed or wherever. And these are experiments of them trying to make some sort of genetic hybrid of some sort within us. I mean, you even hear these stories about implants. Well, what if these implants, think back to the Matrix when Smith put the worm slug looking thing in a Neo, and when Trinity and them pick him up off the street, they're trying to find it in his stomach and get it out, and by then it's like this little robot worm. It's not like a biological being anymore. It's a robot. So what if they are putting these implants in us, and instead of these implants being chips, people like, hey, I got something in my head, man. Doctor's scanning, there's nothing there. Like, nah, man, there's nothing in your head. What if there is? What if it just takes on a different form, and it takes on the form of something organic? What if it takes on the form of another organ? Maybe a common organ wasn't meant to be within our body. Or what about a tumor? A lot of people that have these little benign things on their skin, under their skin, and they're basically benign tumors. What if that's it? What if it's a parasite? What if there's some sort of parasite within these people's bodies that is some sort of implant that was put inside of them? Like I said, I don't know any of this to be fact. This is all just food for thought, man. Once again, it's all about the way you think. So if you can look at shit differently, even if it may not be true, you still see the possibility for something that in your mind is so obvious, because that is what you've known it to be all your life, may not necessarily be what it appears. Not everything is as it appears.